I had a video.
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry about that. And so then they thought I had a video. I did a protest. I got the media involved. I got the FBI involved. I got internal affairs involved. Then I lost myself. And then they put me in jail on terrorist threats on officers. In 3 months, I picked up 11 cases. Never been in trouble in my life. And then I had no chance. So I went to jail for a year. And the harassment has not stopped. They always said our family was unfinished business. So in La Habra, they want you to fear these officers. And if you don't fear them, then they harass you and they hunt you down and they target you. And that's what our family is a target.
Thank you for sharing your intro and being willing to come and talk to us live and with an audience to see your story and just sharing your family's pain. Can you go back? I know it's been 21 years. Your brother was only 21 when he was killed. He was a father and he was loved. He was very loved. Can you go back to that day and maybe even if anything was going on leading up and just kind of share with us how things went down? And will you share with us also how you learned about it? And I'm going to go ahead and pull up a couple pictures that you sent me while you talk.
Okay, so it was July 15th, 2001. And prior to this, my brother being murdered, he was also hunted down by La Habra Police. He continued to tell us on the freeway, he was pulled over and said that he was intimidating somebody or a road rage. And no officer, he was with his wife at the time. Nobody believed him. He kept pleading to our family that something was going to happen because it was like continuous harassment by these officers. My mom called out for help to the home in San Bernardino, Riverside County. The sheriffs came. She was asking for a welfare check. And the sheriffs came, and instead of helping, they choked him out and broke all the blood vessels in his eyes. So at this time, this was right before the July 15th murder. That's why the officer said his eyes were also in the report that his eyes were red, and that's because the sheriffs had already choked him out at my mom's house in Riverside. So then on July 15th, I'm with friends. We get a call that there's an incident. It's 11 o'clock. It's his daughter's first birthday. He had 3 children. And all they said was, you have to get to this 2nd Street in La Habra. There's been a shooting. It started at a Bank of America. And so Cooper Smith was the officer and Doyle Riley. Those were the 2 officers involved. And Cooper Smith was already on my brother. He had been hunting him, harassing him. And he has a history of that because after he murdered my brother, he did the same to me. So then July 15th, I get the call, we show up. They said it started up at Bank of America. I show up at the Bank of America, still don't know he's dead. And then people started coming up to me and I'm looking like, what's going on? And then you see the helicopters and more police. And that's when a friend said that he passed, and I bolted for the traffic. I didn't know what to do. I lost it. Nobody would help us. We went to the police department. Then they had us waiting, and then my dad showed up and he said his body was still on 2nd Street covered. So then we all took off from the police department to the crime scene, and it was bad. So many witnesses, so many tears. It was horrific. They had to call so many different agencies because there were so many upset people the way they killed my brother. And that, they said he looked like a snake with venom, and he still could have lived from his injuries, but they refused help. They let him bleed to death. And that's how they wanted. And paramedics said after that, they'll never forget this. This was horrific to our city.
Tina, I'm sharing right here. This is a photo that she sent me, you guys. And as we first met, and she was telling me about her brother's story, this is from an article from back then when this happened, and somebody, they caught that moment. Just, I shared this on Voice of Strength and my personal Instagram pages recently and my Facebook. And I can't tell you how many people seen it and were just heartbroken, just that raw moment. And I'm going to read it for anybody who's watching. Tina Duarte peers over a front yard fence on 2nd Street in La Habra and gasps on seeing her dead brother. And the other clip that I'm reading from is something I cut out of that same article. It's from a witness statement that whoever did this article got. A witness said the victim was felled by police gunfire and kicked in the head as he lay wounded in the street. So I wanted to share that because that's real and that's raw. Can you share about, it was 21 years ago, and definitely less awareness and less people talking about police brutality, and especially people being killed. Can you share, like, knowing what you know now and how our current day is, just how drastically some of the differences that you had to deal with, maybe for example, like the media and anything else that comes to mind?
It's just so much different now compared to 21 years ago. 21 years ago, police officers were perfect and you were a criminal, and that was it. That was it. You had no mayor helping you. You had no city council helping you. You had no attorneys helping you, especially being being a Hispanic. And if you have a shaved head, you're already categorized as a gang member. And, back then, the chief told me my brother deserved to die to my face. They wanted my mom to sign a paper like he was a piece of shit. He was useless to society. To make themselves look good. They wrote a book about it. The officer, how he suffered from PTSD, but he gloated about the murder. He was so proud of it, another notch on his belt.
You know what? Somehow we got kicked off of Facebook. I don't know if that was from Facebook or here, but I'm going to connect this real quick. Okay. And we'll hop back on because we did have people watching us and listening in.
Marissa, when we're clicking the link, it's not showing the video. It's just taking us to your page.
Is it the YouTube one?
No, the Facebook one. It just takes me to your Facebook page.
I think that's because we just got disconnected. Or was it doing that before?
It was doing it before. I haven't been able to access the video at all. And people are texting too saying they can't access it.
Okay, let me get us back on. And then if they click on my page, they could find it linked on there. Sorry about that. We're having technical difficulties. I'm going to see if it will start on the YouTube again too. Usually it's pretty smooth. Okay, so we are connecting back live on Facebook, you guys. We got kicked off somehow while we were talking and streaming. So if you guys were watching in before, go ahead and just share this for us again. This is the second one that we're connecting. We had some people in with us earlier. We want to get you guys back in here and to hear the story. So Tina, I'm gonna text you guys the link that was just that people can get on.
Okay.
Just gonna send it to myself, and then we're gonna get back onto. Yeah, I got a message too that our video suddenly stopped on there, and so. All All right, guys, thank you guys who are coming back on with us. We are gonna get started right back up. It shut out while we were talking about the picture. Oh yeah, I got multiple messages while we were talking about the picture and sharing about Tina's family with the experience. So just 1 second, I'm gonna get us back on track. Okay, Tina, I just sent it to your phone. I don't, so if you need to grab your phone and put it in, go for it, and then we'll get started back up.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you guys got it?
We're going along to see the words.
She said it's not
Linking
linking on my phone
or anyone's.
or anyone's.
The one that I just texted to your phone?
Yeah, my daughter's on it and she's,
It just takes us to Facebook. It's not taking us to the link.
it just takes them to Facebook, but not the link.
Okay, let's see. Is it like asking you to log in?
No, we're logged in. It just takes us to the
Okay.
feed.
Just the feed.
Okay, well, if you go to, does it take you to my page?
Not even that.
No, not even your page.
And when I go to her page, it's not bringing up any live.
And when she goes to your page, it's not bringing up any live.
Okay, it shows us still live. We got several people in here right now. Let me,
Like, see, like we're here at your page, and then like where wouldn't it be like right here? It's your video showing, right? Because this is just the one you posted earlier for it.
yeah, you know what?
I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. I'm not saying
No,
like,
you are doing it right. It was my page. It was only showing it on Friends. So just refresh it and it should be
Okay.
there now. Sorry about that, guys.
you're fine.
Ladies.
Thank you.
But thank you for pointing that out too, because we definitely want it to be viewable to all
Oh, now
people.
it's showing. Now it's
Now it shows, okay.
Yeah.
Say doctor's.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go back. I want to go back to the photo and we'll just pick up from right there. So for anybody who's just hopping on with us or whoever may have missed this part, this is the photo we were just talking about that was captured while she walked up upon this horrific scene. And she's sharing with us about how there was, you know, no support back then. And if you want to go ahead and pick back up from there, Tina.
Yeah, so back then, 21 years ago, there was no support from attorneys, from any officers. You stood alone. Everybody was afraid against to go a cop back then. So like I said, 3 months, I fought what I knew how to fight. I've never fought before, but I knew it was my brother. I wasn't asking them to name a street after them. I wanted them to realize he was somebody. He was somebody's dad. He was somebody's son. He was somebody's brother. He was somebody's uncle. He was somebody to us. And they just wanted to make him like he was just a piece of garbage that deserved to die. And the captain told me that to my face, my brother deserved to die. So not educated in this, I just did, and my anger took over and the fight, and nobody messes with my family. And I did a protest. I got them on the news. I just started doing whatever I needed to do to get this out there. Then along the way, I lost myself. You know, I lost myself. I dealt with his death differently, you know, and it destroyed our family. That day, our family has never been the same. You know, and I'm still angry and I can't get over it. And you never get over it. So when they say time heals, it doesn't, because the harassment continues. And it continues. And these officers want you to fear them. They want to intimidate you. They want to take all your rights away. They want you to fear them. And if you don't, they will harass you. And today they can't do that anymore. We have cameras, we videotape, everybody's watching. And then going through the case with them, 3 officers, you know, I want accountability with these officers. They need to be accountable for what they do. And if we don't know our rights, they walk all over you. We have to learn what our rights are. You don't have to sit on a floor like a dog. We are not inhuman, you know, we're not dogs, we are not animals. And that's what these cops think. They think they're above, and there's good and bad in everything you do. Because I met some good officers and they know what goes on. And they say not all of them are the same. But it's hard, you know, how do you trust anybody? You know, so that's where it is. And so when I got arrested, I was recording an 18-year-old kid pleading for his life, you know, coming home from work. And these officers, and there's just one that just, Travis Nelson, he just continues to harass me, my family. He doesn't stop. He reminds me of the cop that murdered my brother, Cooper T. Smith. He reminds me of him. And he stalks, he comes in my driveway with his lights off. So he had these officers had this kid. I started recording, and I'm not miscongeniality. I don't do it with my pinky up. You can hear the anger, you can hear the hurt in my voice, but I want them to be responsible, you know, accountable for what they're doing. And man, the deadliest weapon you can have is a camera. So I got pushed, I got shoved, I got screamed at, get back. And I was moving back, even though I'm saying I'm not, and I still continue to get back. And then he ordered the arrest. Then they kidnapped me and took me for 6 hours into the city jail.
And how long ago was this again?
This was in July 6th,
Okay.
2022.
So for people watching, she's talking about, like, she has had multiple arrests throughout after having her brother taken from her. And the one she's talking about is very recent. It was just after, I think a little bit after we connected on Instagram. So then one day she messages me and has videos and it's telling me what happened. I actually have I have it, part of the video on my screen, and I'm going to share it for the people watching so that they can kind of see what you're dealing with. But it was an 18-year-old man in her alleyway being harassed by these, I call them monsters, because that's what they look like. They were terrorizing him. And you could go ahead and share a little bit more about that while I pull up the video that we'll put on.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, he was pleading for his life, and so I pulled over and started recording, and they want to bring up my 20-year-old ticket that was a lie when they said that because I got convicted of a terrorist threat on an officer 21 years ago. And like I said, the rules were way different then, you know, and I had no rights. I didn't know my rights was the biggest thing. I did not know my rights. And so I had a terrorist threat. And so they tried to use that in this incident. And so the kid was in fear. I pulled over, started recording. Then the tyrants started coming. I took 15 officers, I think, for a kid riding his bike on the wrong side of the street. And so then I argued back, and you know, was saying that I knew my rights, and then they took us both to jail for 6 hours. And then they released us, ticketed us. He got a ticket for riding his bike on the wrong side of the street. And then I got 3 counts of obstruction, interfering with an officer. And I just won that case. They took it to a jury. They dismissed the kid's case, and they took mine to trial with a jury and everything. And I won.
And she just won last week. I got the messages, not guilty. I was so happy. I was so happy. I'm like, she fought back. And with these cases, a lot of people know how the justice system works. They want people to take plea deals. They want us to plead to stuff. And a lot of times the public defenders, or even sometimes our own paid lawyers, could encourage us to take those pleas, even if we are not guilty of the crime. So, and earlier you said something that I say too, when people are arrested wrongfully, you were kidnapped, you were assaulted, you were kidnapped, you were taken away, you were bruised up.
Bruised
And
up,
it's not
51
okay.
years old. They act like I'm this threat to society. The only threat I have is my camera and my mouth. That's it. And they don't like that. And then before they, so after when I went to court, how he thought I had a warrant, that other cop, the same cop that ordered the arrest. I was coming home from my daughter's softball and we're driving and I passed the officer and he sees me and he pulls me over, and because he thinks I have a warrant. Well, I had court in October, then they requested, I asked for a speedy trial, and then they requested me to come back on November 4th. I had told the judge I wasn't going to be in state. He said he was going to do this form where my public defender could stand in for me, no problem. See you on the next court date. Perfect. Well, right before Veterans Day, it's Wednesday, and all night undercovers are coming in my apartments. The neighbors are telling me what's going on. I look over the wall because I live in an apartment, and there's cops back there waiting. I mean, they were hunting me down again. They wanted to take me to jail for the 3-day weekend because they thought I had a warrant. So that Thursday, right before Veterans Day, I get the ticket in the mail, and it's 2:00 in the afternoon, and it's $10,000 bench warrant. How I got this, nobody knows, but he sure did know about it before anybody, because he said last week he knew I had a warrant, and here we are that Saturday. So I zoomed to the court. Nobody would help me. I zoomed back to the courtroom because I'm not taking no for an answer, and I'm not going to jail for 3 days. So then I'm telling my story to the bailiff and a couple of workers, and I'm like, please, they're going to take me to jail. Somebody help me. She stood up and said she was going to help me. And then 15 minutes later, the judge came out and lifted my warrant, got the DA, got the public defender on the phone, and lifted my warrant. He said, I never do this for anybody. And he did it. And that's what the warrant is all about. So then this officer, the tyrant that ordered the arrest on the original, pulls me over because he thinks I have a warrant. So again, he's holding me hostage. And now I have my 15-year-old daughter in the backseat who's tired, who just played softball since 5:30 in the morning. And then we have the cops all lined up, 6 officers marching to my car like I'm a threat. And again, the only deadly weapon I ever have is my camera. That's it. And he thought I had a warrant. And once again, he looks dumb as he is, and there's no warrant.
I'm going to bring that officer. What's his name again?
His name is Travis Nelson.
Okay. So I had made a post with his face, and I'm going to pull it up on the screen so people can see. Look at this creep.
That's the tyrant.
So that was there. This photo is one is that during the harassment of the young man, correct?
Yes, this is when he's screaming in my face to get back. And then on the stand, he testified that he was a specialist, a de-escalation specialist. And that screaming like this in somebody's face does work sometimes.
My gosh. My goodness.
Right?
Yeah, he looks like a typical pig.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
He's on steroids, angry, mad at the world, you know. I wish they'd start drug testing every time they did an incident with people and they're at fault. I wish they would drug test them just like any other job. When we get injured, we get drug tested.
Yep. And a lot of people don't know that until they have a reason to know, like us. A lot of people before, I mean, I admit I didn't know that police officers weren't all just required to drug test.
Right.
And especially during when they kill, they should absolutely be drug tested first and foremost.
Yes.
So this is from the video of him that she just shared about, and it's like she got her proof, she got her receipts of him here, and I won't play the whole video, but we can just, you know, this is him pulling her over, And he thought you had that warrant still, was hoping he could get you.
That he's hunting me down now. And see, this is what they get away with, though. You know, this is what they've been allowed to get away with. But now that we all are coming together and videotaping and know your rights, we all need to know our rights. Because if you don't know your rights, they're bullying you. They don't have the right to make you sit on the floor like a dog. They don't have the right to demand your ID when you haven't committed a crime. And they take your rights all the time, even when you know your rights. And we get scared and they intimidate us and they want us to back down. And we do. People do. People tell me all the time, I wish I had your guts. I wish I could stand up like you. But this is all pain in my heart and anger. You know, and when you get that much pain and anger, you can do anything.
I love that. You know, when I had you on, when I was planning to have you on, I'm like, to me, you are a hero. And with the incident with the 18-year-old young man, still a teenager, he could have, who knows what would have happened if you wouldn't have intervened and just made it yourself there for him and letting the cops know that you're not just going to stand there and watch them do that to the young man. Before I close this video up, Cop Gets Owned by a Woman. I love that title. And he has almost 400,000 subscribers. So I think that's great. San Joaquin Valley over there, getting your story out there.
Oh yeah, San Joaquin Valley has educated me so much. I mean, I try to tell everybody to watch him, learn. He tells you, he shows you. I mean, it works. It works. It's helped me. So people, please know your rights and stop letting these cops bully you and taking all our rights away.
I'm gonna go ahead and close that up. But that is, yeah, so I love that advice. Not getting bullied repeatedly, standing up for ourselves, using our voice, using the law against them. And is there any more advice you might have? Because I asked a question the other day and I thought about you, because they asked me, what should people do when they see police brutality? Should they do more? And my answer was like, I can only say what I would do. And we might not even know exactly what we'll do, but I know that I would have to, and I have before while witnessing it, I would have to intervene in some way. But I do know on the flip side, it's putting the person who decides to intervene at risk. Their whole life is at risk. And you came to mind. It had just happened where you were not guilty. And I'm like, well, you know what? People really just have to choose, because you could end up going to jail too that day, or beat up or worse. So can you tell me, would you do that again? After everything you went through?
I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm going to continue doing it, because the way I see it, if I can save one family from going through what I've been through and our family's been through, and the children that my brother left behind have been through and are still suffering every day without their father, of course I would. If I can save one life, I did my job. My brother will never be forgotten. Until I take my last breath, I will remember my brothers. Make everybody say my brother's name and remember why I'm doing this. It's for my brother, what they did to our family. All these years, nobody would listen. Nobody would listen. Today, people listen. And I'm grateful for that today. Things have changed. I go to the courts. Public defenders know how these officers are. My public defender, Chip Brooks, I have to give hands down to him. Awesome man in Fullerton Court. Like, he knew his shit. That's why he does it. And he did a great job. And this is why I do it. It's for my brother. It's in memory of my brother. He'll never be forgotten. The pain's in my heart every day. Never gets better. Never gets easier. Sucks.
Thank you Thank you. And I do want to say we have about 30 people who are on right now watching and listening. Thank you all for everybody who's
Yes,
engaging
thank
with
you,
us.
everybody. Please videotape. Even if you're scared, put it down. As long as you're getting the voice, just always protect yourself. They are the enemy. They're not here to protect us. And they don't think twice about taking our life and putting us in jail for stupid shit and taking our life. If you lose your job, you lose your car gets impounded. There's so much that comes with it and they don't care. So cover your butt, because if I didn't have the video and what they put on paper with to the reality, I would have lost my case. I'd be on probation and I'd be at their beck and call.
I want to ask everybody who's watching with us to say his name. Let's say your brother's name together. Michael Duarte.
Michael Duarte, all day. Michael Duarte. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate everybody. This is new for me. I'm just trying to help people. I don't ever want to see a family go through what our family's been through, and that's why I do it.
Yes, yes. And you know what? There's so many comments here. I'll read a couple of them too. And just thank you to everybody. If you guys have any more questions or comments, please feel free to leave it on there. We'll try to get to you guys. I'm just going to go through and read a couple. Jenny Ruiz, impacted sister. They are monsters, and LAPD just killed 3 people in 3 days. Andre Small, stand your ground. Yes. Sabrina.
Thank you.
Cordial, impacted mother. Yes, right on. Tina Marie, not guilty. Good for you.
That's right. Thank you.
Maria Kofinko, power to the people. Jim Gomez, he's putting strong. Know the Constitution, Bill of Rights, law of the United States of America. That's Andre Smalls. Jesus Padilla, keep up the good work, everyone.
Thank you.
FTP is from him.
That's right.
Andre Smalls, make sure you teach people the Constitution, Bill of Rights. Good stuff. Marissa Barrera, letting you know the United States of America is under the Constitution. Miss Grant, when they target and harass families months or especially years after they've killed their loved one, it's evidence that they have something to hide and it was not justified. Document all harassment dates and detail with video proof, and consider sharing it publicly to make it stop, or consult an attorney.
I am. Thank you.
Lots of good information. Really excited to have you on, and I love the information you're sharing. I want to try to get more of this out there to people. You know, of course, we want to share our loved ones' stories. And I think every time, I know for me, I speak about any victim or any family, I know that's, we're also sharing our loved one, because now we are all connected. But these extra tips and showing that you stood up and you won, and you're still fighting back, and you're a hero in your town. I want to ask the 18-year-old kid, what did he say about all this?
Well, he would thank me. He was so scared and he cried, and he works 2 jobs, never been in trouble. Just, he says they do it all the time. And, thank you for sticking up for him, because it could have ended a lot different.
Gosh.
So, that's what I said. I mean, even when you call, I call 911 and dispatch would hang up on me 3 times, and because they all protect their own. I was asking for a sergeant because I was in fear of my life, and she told me I was abusing 911. Like,
my goodness.
Right. Like, who are you to decide that? So, but I want to thank you, Marissa. I mean, you listened, you always commented back. You're here for the people. You have that same pain. You know my pain. I wish I had more of what you had to do all this. I have different things. So I think we make a great team, and to share all this to everybody and make awareness. Don't think it's not going to happen to you or your family. It's happening. All colors, all races. It happens. It's the reality.
Yeah. Yes. And thank you for saying all of that. I know there's a bunch of other families listening, and you're getting a lot of hearts and stuff popping up, and I feel you. And sometimes people tell me that too, I wish I was doing things, but I feel like we all have something different to offer, because
exactly,
what you're doing out there, since I just met you, I'm like, I love it. I love it. I'm like, I want to be like her. I want to continue just always standing up for what's right and for the people. And that don't just mean online. It means when you witness it too, you stand up.
You stand up for yourself. They only do what we allow them to do. And I'm not going to let them torment my family no more. I'm not afraid of them. They put no fear in me. They already know when I'm coming. Oh shit, here she comes. All right,
Yep.
then you know you better not shoot this guy because I'm right here. And I'm gonna have it all on camera.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna post it for everybody to see.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of people seen that. He must have been so mad seeing his face like that put out there, that cop.
oh yeah, I just saw him at the restaurant. He put his body cam on, silent as can be. You know, of course, but you know, I'm like I said, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue doing this. And if I could save one life, I did my job.
Yep.
And yes, my voice is annoying. And yes, I could be loud.
No, I love it.
It's the pain I get, it's pain, and it's just so much from 21 years of abuse that I do. It's just so personal. That's why it's very, very personal.
It's justified. Yeah, I'm gonna read a couple more comments because I seen some more and from people who know you, brother, and your family. We got Mario Munoz. Michael was a great friend of mine. We used to play water balloon fights when we were younger. Great family, sending love. R.I.P. Michael, we won't forget you. A lot of people saying his name in there.
Thank you. Keep saying his name. Never forget him.
Yeah, so I definitely encourage you guys, you and your family, check out the comments later. And there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, I want to say, for anybody who wants to see the videos, I will post the links to the YouTube videos that she has of both of the incidents that we spoke about. And the one where she helped the young man, he was visibly crying before that. And then Tina came and she's like, don't worry, you're okay now. Tina is here. And she just like, that's, you could tell you're, you know, a mama bear, you're a mother, and you're a sister who lost your brother to these pigs. So
absolutely, they don't ever talk about the sister's pain, you know, and we suffer. We're the I'm the only sister of 3 brothers, and he was the baby. And it's a different kind of love. It's just like I was the protector all the time. So I'm still protecting him.
Gosh, yeah. I know a lot of people will relate to that too. I know a lot of sisters now too. So it's like we could look at each other and we feel it, we know it. It's still there.
And you know, people say, get over it. You don't. You'll never get over it, and you'll never know what we're going through till you've gone through it.
Yeah.
So
that's what we don't want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna stop, and I'll never forget saying my brother. And like I said, I didn't ask them to name a street after them, but he was somebody's son, somebody's dad, somebody's brother, somebody's friend, our community came together when my brother died. We didn't have no money to bury him, and the community came together, and we had enough for a funeral, a plaque, everything, and his family walked away with some money. That's unheard of. You don't get that much money to bury your loved one, and to walk away and still the kids get a few, you know, you don't. But the community knew it was wrong. Even officers stopped and gave money and said, we're not all the same.
Wow.
So it's a story. And keep fighting for your loved ones. Never give up. Don't let them intimidate you. If you want me to go sit next to them in court, call me. No.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Great advice. And I'll just read a couple more comments because there's a lot. So
thank you, everybody.
We're getting just a lot more justice for your brother comments. Once our life, where'd that one go? Once our life is always in danger when cops hunt us. Then we have stand strong, keep up the good fight. Kevin Tarver, another impacted father.
Thank you.
Tina, people letting you know they support you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything else? Let's end with sharing something about your brother, maybe something about his personality, something he liked, so a good memory. I think that'll be a great way.
My brother loved to laugh and have fun. He had 3 children. He had a son named Michael. He had a daughter named Ariel, a daughter named Alyssa, I'm sorry. And then we struggled, but he loved his kids. He always wanted to make sure his kids were taken care of. And he loved sports. He loved to he had the smile that could brighten a room. And people talk about the shakes he used to make. They'll message me, oh my God, Tina, I still remember he would come and make these shakes for our family. Or, he had heart. And he loved his family and he loved his kids.
And you see that smile right there. It shines right through.
Oh, yes. And here he is on his wedding day. He was married. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, we appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story, sharing about your brother and your story as well, your families. Any last words to to other families who are experiencing this right now? Any last advice or final words?
I'm sorry. I wish I could take that pain. I always felt like I was drowning underwater, like that pain in your heart. And I just wanted somebody to pull me out, and that pain doesn't go away and it doesn't get better, but stay strong and don't let this take away from you. You keep fighting and keep living for your kids and your other children. And as hard as it may get, keep going. We have to keep going and not let them take everything from us.
Okay, thank you so much, Tina, and thank you for everybody.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all my friends, everybody following. They all know. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna close off this live. You guys feel free to continue sharing this and helping us raise more awareness and giving the voices, the families, amplifying their voices, giving them space to speak. Yes. And you guys all have a good night.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Be safe.